And yet we've filled that lack. Our spiritual master has filled that lack for thousands of young people now, who are not only God conscious, but they're practicing it every minute of every day. And they're practicing it practically, in the city, or in the community, or in the farm, or wherever they are. So it's not that we're contesting the origins. The origin from Christ may have been very pure, but its present manifestation appears to be lacking something, and the young people are seeing that.
But just for example, there is the 10 commandments. There is first commandment is thou shalt not kill. So when I ask any Christian gentleman, then why you are killing? They cannot give me any satisfactory answer.
How does the process of animal slaughter in the slaughterhouse, as we find it today, how does it fit into your philosophy for, say, changing the society? Where do you put that in your philosophy?
Well, I think one should try and do without it. You can't everywhere do without it. It's like all non-violence. It's the direction of movement. Try to do your utmost to go as far as...
So wherever possible, the slaughtering business should not go on.
But the Eskimos, for instance...
That is another thing.
That's what I was saying.
When there is no food, so human life is more important than animal life. So the human life should be saved at the sacrifice of animal. That is another question. But where there is complete facilities to get very nice nutritious food, why these poor animals should be killed?
But in the last week we've had a Jesuit priest, a Blackfriars monk, several other theologically inclined Christian gentlemen have been here, and not one of them has assented to that statement. They do not agree. They think that...
They do not agree that animal killing is sinful. They do not agree.
It's a very long question, isn't it?
That is a simple question. Killing,
yes.
Do you think killing is very good business? Then why it is forbidden?
No.
Thou shalt not kill.
But sometimes protection is necessary.
That is another thing. Generally, you should not kill. But when there is absolute necessity, that is another thing. But generally, this killing process you cannot support. And at the same time, you want to make the society purified. You commit sinful activities, at the same time you want to purify. How it is possible?
I think a society can survive, and spirituality can survive even among meat eaters. It's much more difficult to imagine that a society can survive which has animal factories. Now I would be much more interested whether we can get our friends, the Dominicans and Jesuits, to agree that this kind of treatment of animals is just beyond the pale. This would be, in the European context, I think a better test than to challenge the habit of meat eating, which is also intergrown with all sorts of assumptions. I mean, there is the ruling assumption that you need it, which I challenge, and you challenge.
See, the habits are one thing. If we understand that it is an undesirable habit, it can be changed. All of us are from meat-eating backgrounds, almost without exception. We've all strictly stopped. We've stopped taking intoxicants, we've stopped gambling, and we've stopped illicit sex life, although we are habituated to doing these things, because we came to understand that it was necessary for the advancement of our spiritual life. But the difficulty is that somebody who is so much engrossed in this kind of life, who has made it a pillar of his life, and that by the psychological effect of such habits, he comes to the stage of being so stony-hearted that he does not see the miserable suffering he's putting the animals too unnecessarily. He has no sense for it. Even if it's graphically described to him, I described it to this monk about how conscious the cow is compared to, say, the cauliflower. He couldn't see any difference. No distinction.
I'm sorry, distinction between what?
The distinction between killing a cow and cutting off a cauliflower from the plant. He said both are alive. Yes, both are alive. But what is the psychological state of a cow? What is the psychological state of a cauliflower plant? Practically speaking, he has no psychology, no senses, no mind, no ability to feel elation or suffering. But a cow is a completely different condition. Cow is very nearly to human consciousness. Practically the next birth after a cow, according to the Vedas, is a human birth. You're putting so much suffering unnecessarily. But he had no sense. Not an intelligent man who can sense that if I suffer, I don't like it. Then when he sees another living entity put into suffering, he thinks how I could avoid that suffering for that living entity, because I don't like to suffer. But this gentleman had no conception.
There is one moral instruction by Chanakya Pandit. Chanakya Pandit was a great minister during the time of Maharaj Chandragupta. So, he was honorary prime minister in the empire. So, he has a book of moral instruction. So, he says in that moral instruction, who is a learned man? So, he gives the description of a learned man that Matrivat Paradareshu, Matrivat, just treat all other women except your wife as your mother. Matrivat Paradareshu, Paradurveshu Lostava. Losta means, as there are so many pebbles lying on the street, you don't care for it. Similarly, others' property, others' money, you should treat just like these pebbles lying on the street or the garbage lying on the street. Don't touch it. The Matrivat Paradareshu, Paradurveshu Lostava, Atmavat Sarvabhuteshu, and treat all living entities as you want to be treated. If one has got these three qualifications, he is learned. He does not say one has got this BSc, DSc degrees and so on, so on, so on. No. The result of his education is to be seen by three manifestations. Treating all women as mother. Treating others' money, property as garbage, as rubbish in the street. And treating all living entities as you want to be treated yours. If one has attained these three development of knowledge, he is learned. There is no question of literary education. Matrivat Paradareshu, Paradurveshu Lostava. So, if we covet others' wife, if we eat meat, if we indulge in intoxication, if we indulge in gambling, we are polluting the whole society. So how we can expect purification unless we accept this principle? You cannot ignite fire at the same time pour water on it. Similarly, if you want to purify the whole society, as Chanakya Pandit says, Madhrivat Paradarish, Paradurveshu Lostava, Atavat Sarvabhuteshu, Chapashyati Sapandita. Women should be treated as mother. They should be given protection. They should not be advertised for prostitution. All living should be given protection. This is the government's duty. A king's duty is government duty, that anyone who has taken birth on the land, he must be protected. It doesn't matter whether he is human being or animal or trees. So these are the process of purification. If you don't adopt the process, simply you think the counter side only, and there is no. So this Krishna consciousness movement will purify the whole situation.